Hey, this is Mark McCraw, Oklahoma children's book author. I hope you're having a picklelicious day today. You're either having a sweet pickle day or you're having a sour pickle day. You choose what kind of pickle day you are having. But I'm all about pickles, and I got my pickle stuffies. I got some more pickle stuffies. I have my emotional support pickle, which you can barely see it, but there's a little pickle at the bottom. And my emotional support pickle motto: life isn't always bread and butter. So this pickle is here to help you deal with all that life throws your way. I will always be around to let you know that you are a big deal. And I'm wearing my shirt, I'm kind of a big deal. So, thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to meeting up with you two now. So,
Well, thank you, Mark, for that picklelicious introduction. And we are talking today about upping your social media game. And I think some of the stuff that we were talking about before the episode started and some of the stuff that you were showing off are great examples of ways that you can up your social media game, right, Francine?
That is absolutely correct. That first little capture the audience. That's the most important part of any social media interaction you have.
Sorry, I was enjoying my pickle.
I know. I don't know if anyone noticed the look on my face, but I was expecting a dill pickle, and this was a sweet pickle.
Oh, man. That's the worst surprise ever. I am not a sweet pickle kind of girl.
I can't do the sour ones. They make me pucker up like a crazy. And my kids used to get me to eat sour stuff like Sour Patch stuff and things like that. I'm like, just to see my face go crazy.
I really, really miss my grandma's pickles, though. Like, she had the perfect pickling recipe. I don't know. I can't recreate anything grandma.
I tried. My grandmother, well, she's my bubby. That's Jewish for grandmother. My bubby had a great recipe, and I tried it. I followed the steps. I let them sit and pickle for I don't know how long. And it was just pure vinegar.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a long time. Well, it was a long time ago. And needless to say, I really haven't tried again.
So, Mark, what I really like about what you're doing is you've got all of these tangible items that go along with the story. And, it's like a tale as old as time. You've got a children's cartoon, and before you know it, you've got the action figure that goes with the children's cartoon. So it's pretty cool that you've got all this pickle stuff to go with your book. You want to talk a little bit more about how that evolved?
Yeah, we definitely need everybody to know what Nickolai Picoli is.
So Nickolai Picoli was a book that was written, collaborated on by myself and a 10-year-old young man, and we collaborated on helping him learn how to do a bio, helping him collaborate on what the sketches should look like. He actually just said, hey, I want the little boy on the front to have glasses because I have glasses. So a lot of it was his input and his collaboration. We talked about some ideas in the book, making it a fun adventure, but it was also theme related, where it talked about being shy about doing a presentation, learning about research skills, a debate about whether a pickle is a vegetable, fruit, or other was one of the things that we added in there so that the reader could actually go do some research, and because there's so many different answers out on the web about what a pickle actually is, where it comes from, or what it is. We know that it comes from cucumbers, but cucumbers have seeds, right? And so some people say, oh, it's a fruit. Some people say, no, it's a vegetable, but you don't see it in the vegetable aisle and you don't see it in the fruit aisle. You see it on the shelves with, mayonnaise and ketchup and all that. So you see it as a condiment on the condiment aisle. So it was just a lot of fun writing it together. And I don't think the 10-year-old really realized the impact of being an Oklahoma author and at the same time an international author in 28 different countries or more, and 20 extra websites in addition to that. So, you know, and I think what that really boils down to is we need to teach the younger generation how to write a book.
Yes.
Oh, I like it. I remember I was a teacher's aide when I was in high school. And so one of the things I helped with was story hour. And it was the third grade level. And they all got the hardcover books where you got to color on the front of it. And then everybody kind of put together their story. So I've kind of been a part of something like that, but never quite to the extent that you took it, Mark. I think that's fantastic because it kind of also introduces mentorship in writing and how important it is to kind of have a team for feedback.
Huh. Are we doing that, Heidi? Mentorship in writing?
It might be.
I think so.
So, so Mark, how did you start thinking about, helping kids write books?
Well, every time that I go to an event or to an event like an author visit, I always try to ask the children, you know, who wants to write, who really enjoys writing, and they'll raise their hand. Who enjoys, you know, drawing and stuff like that, and I try to encourage the kids to, you know, follow in that passion that they have. I said, you know, you can write a book. So a lot of times they think they can't write a book, but you know, I've seen children that are 9 years old who have written books all the way up to age 90. It's really encouraging them to write, and that's the reason why one time for Halloween I dressed up like a composition notebook, was because I wanted the kids to realize that, hey, it's Halloween, but guess what? I'm a writer, and here's my composition notebook, and here's what you use in school, and try to encourage them to write more, because that is a big issue in schools. Is there, you know, in some schools they're not writing enough, you know, and children need to be able to learn how to write creative stories and things like that, and I think that's a really good thing to do.
If we don't teach them today, who's going to write all the books of tomorrow?
Yeah, no, believe it or not, which I didn't know this until a couple of years ago, that several children's book writers used the stories that they wrote in second grade.
Really?
Second, third grade. Yeah, they actually have taken stories and written children's books off of those stories that they kept for around a long time. You know, a long time. You know, so you just never know where these stories can come from.
I hear a lot about that from the music artists that I work with as well. They're like, you know, I've been collecting songs since I was 7, 12, you know, and it's kind of like Mark was talking about, where, you know, something gets written and it gets put away for a little bit, and then you revisit it and revise it, and it turns out to be something spectacular.
Yeah,
We
I
lost
think.
Francine. She was making and now
Oh
she's
yeah.
gone. But
Oh yeah. Well, and I think that a lot of people have they have stories in their mind, and when a lot of the customers will come up, or potential readers or whatever, they'll come up to my table, and they'll say, "Well, I have this story in mind, but I just can't. I just don't think I can publish it or write it." And I said, "You've got great stories, you know, and you know, tell people about them, because somebody out there wants to hear your story." You know, and it's based on experiences. It's based on children, grandchildren, a work environment, interactions throughout the day. Like one book, I actually did dialogue, or where the dialogue from the book actually came about because I actually throughout the year started texting myself all this dialogue on one of the characters in the book, and a specific event that happened, and I just wrapped it around that event and used the dialogue for the year and put it in the book, so that you know, the reader could see that, hey, actual words like, you know, I'm coming to your house at 47 were actually words that you know, that the character was saying. So it wasn't something that I just made up off the top of my head. This was actual dialogue.
I see.
Well, and of Jody who's a fellow children's author of ours. We went to Nashville this weekend for the Children's Author Summit. And on the drive there, we started writing our collaborative book. Her character, Soldier Mom, is coming to Camp Confidence to talk about getting deployed. And it's real life situations that make the best stories.
They do.
So, Mark, what do you have to say when somebody's thinking about telling their story, but they're really like, is anyone really actually going to care about this? Has anyone ever said that to you when you've encouraged them to tell their story?
Yes, and that's why I do from time to time. I do what's called intro to publishing at a library, or at one time I did it at a coffee shop in a bank. There was they had like a room that you could go into, and the coffee shop was next to the bank inside. And what we did is we had an intro to publishing, so anybody who wanted to learn about publishing a book could come. And I think the hardest part is getting over the first hump of getting started. I think that's the biggest problem, is getting started. They know that they have a story, but they think it's harder than it is. I mean, it's right now it's easier to self-publish than it ever has been. And so they're thinking that they have to go through a massive amount of traditional publishing and other things and contracts and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. If you want to go that route, that's great. But the doors have opened up for self-publishing. It wasn't like that when I was first learning about authors. It was more traditional, but now it's opened the doors for anybody really to start publishing.
And if you are thinking that you have a story to tell and you're not sure what to do next, well, we are teaching the process of getting published in the Believe You Can anthology. You come in and write one little chapter, which can be the beginning of your story that you want to tell. And then we take you through the process of getting it edited, we do the formatting and all of the uploading and all of that, but we keep you in the process so you can see what's being done. And then that's only 10, maybe 20% of the process. The big part of it is, what do you do after it's published? And that's the part that the Believe You Can program is talking about. How do you promote yourself and your book after it's published? But right now, I just dropped that editing note. Mark is working with our editor, Terry Wells. And if you haven't met Terry yet, you could go back and find some replays of the 2 sessions she did with us. She edited my chapter right here on this live stream. So Mark is working with her now on one of his projects. Mark, how's it going with Terry right now?
Going great. I actually got the feedback back, and I'm looking over the feedback. And this is actually book 14. Book 13 is actually in with the illustrator and is finishing up. So I'm hoping that that'll be published soon. Hopefully, we're hoping by the end of August, but it just depends on the illustrator's time frame. It's getting closer, and then as we're working on this book 14 editing, that'll be in the process, and then that portion of it will be done, which I'll be happy about, and then I can move on to getting an illustrator for that book. So things are going great.
So what was your process like? I referred you to Terry. After you connected with Terry, what was that process like?
Well, it's, of course, I did a letter of agreement, and all of that. So I signed that. And once that letter agreement was signed, then she began the editing process. And so now I'm looking over the track changes and all that stuff, the comments, and to refine that. She's actually the second editor. The first editor was at a conference for the Oklahoma Writers Federation. They had a lady that was doing an editor was doing some free critiques, and so I was able to really polish it into a little bit better works. than what I had. I had a couple of issues on some point of view things that I was working on, and she helped me get in the right direction there. And then now I'm working, working with Terry, and so it's been a good process. So it's always good to have more eyes on things because you don't get blindsided.
Where else can you get eyes on your work, Mark?
Well, you can get eyes on your work in what I call a portal party. Say that 10 times. And I've, and Francine has and Heidi, they have a portal party that you can go to and get some help. It's always good to have other people looking at your book. It really is. So,
You got feedback at a portal party once, didn't you?
yes, I did. It was on a book that I'm going to finish up. I haven't done anything with it right this moment, but I have it on the back burner to be a future book. So, but the comments were great, and it helped me out a lot in trying to get in the right direction.
What were you going to say, Heidi?
Well, I was going to get to the topic of today because we're going to talk about stepping up social media. Not that this little side detour was bad. This was good to dig into because some people don't really understand a lot about the process yet. So it's good to talk about this and hear how it works. And so I want to talk a little bit more about what you were getting at, Francine, the after publishing process. How do you actually promote the stuff and get it out there? So I'm curious, Mark, what are some of the things that you've been doing so far to promote your book?
Well, one is, coordinating with bookstores. They help put ads out for me. I put out ads on it. So really kind of a combined coordination really on a particular event. Like I'm going to a bookstore this weekend, and we're going to be doing Nickolai Picoli, and it's it's got the pickle hat and all that kind of thing. So it's really promoting, and it's not like going on the social media like 10 times a day because you don't want it to be act like a bot. So you want to make sure that you space it out in enough time throughout the week or whatever, so that you're not flooding it every single day. But I try to get ads out. I try to promote. I try to put it on my website. I try to promote it different ways in groups and things like that. I find what I do is I also look for the local kind of community Facebook pages, things like that relate to that community, so I can put the ads on their pages. And so I kind of really try to fine line it.
I like what you said pretty much about team promo, working with other people to plan an event. That way you're not the only person that is trying to get people to come down for the event or check this out. That one is really stepping up your game. And then when you also do that on social media, so do you do any of that stuff like when you partner with people and you're doing posts and things, are you tagging those organizations that you're working with as well, like when you're doing the promotions?
With tagging, I need to get better at tagging. I'm still learning the technology and all that stuff of tagging, but I need to be better at doing that. But I do put it out on. I use a program where I actually, instead of going on each individual site, I just use a program that I can write up my ad, and it'll send it to all those social media sites that I have logged in there, which saves me so much more time to be able to do that, to go search for other groups and things like that. But I do try to share a lot, and not only my events but other authors. When I go on and see them, I like them, and then I share them, and so I try to do that too. So I try to reciprocate, because it's not all about me when it comes to those kind of things, because I feel like you don't want to be that kind of author. You want to be the kind of author that is not afraid to collaborate with other people, collaborate with event coordinators, finding out who they are, not just going to a store and saying, hey, can I do an event? You need to find out who those event coordinators are and keep that constant communication. And then when you're done, making sure that you say thank you for inviting me. That is so important to the event when you're finished, is thanking the people that you're there with, and also thanking them in email and that kind of thing. So uh, it's very important to keep those relationships going. And really, it is about one thing: relationships, relationships, relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And Mark hit on something, is collaboration and relationships. And when we do our Believe anthology, you are automatically connected with every author in the anthology. Form collaborations with all our fellow authors, because that is where you're going to get your promotion. That's where you're going to promote each other. Mark and I are in a children's authors group together, and we all support each other. If you're a children's author, we'd love to have you join us. But the Believe anthology family can be that community for you if you're an adult. I don't want to say adult author because I've been warned. It makes it sound like I'm writing adult books. Not that kind of book, but books for people over the age of 18.
There you go.
General literature kind of books.
General literature, books for adults. Yes. It'd be a little specific there, because when I say these are my children's books, but I write adult books too, people assume it's the other kind of.
You know, we were just talking about that with rating your videos, since we're talking about social media and posting videos and stuff like that. You know, there's like the adult rating or the R rating or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you're swearing in your video, that doesn't mean that that's like that highest R rating. That's like really reserved for like the more extreme kind of video content stuff. And so when you label yourself there, you get looped into that. And so the conversation that I was having is a lot of church groups are posting that it's more explicit materials because maybe there was like a swear word or something like that that came up, but it really it's really not. So when you're posting things like that,
choose the right
check
category.
your rating.
Yeah.
It might not be as explicit as what you think that it is. So that's something I learned this week.
You could always beep out the bad words.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's so important too when you there's all kinds of Facebook groups out there and things like that, but some are not as active as others, and so you need to find those groups. Like I found Francine's group purely by a post or something that was out there, and in all the groups I've ever been in, I've never been in one that's quite like this one. I've never ever been in one that's where you two, I listen to you when I'm not on live here, and I get a lot of encouragement on what you say and what you're doing, and I think that that's what you need as an author or musician or illustrator, is you need that connective groups. You need to go to conferences. You need to be able to do those things. You need to find a writing group if you can. A lot of bookstores now are forming writing groups. New ones are forming the writing groups, and be a part of those. Be a part of the groups. I mean, why should you do this alone? And I see authors that get so frustrated that want to quit. They want to do this or they want to do that. They don't want to do it anymore. That kind of thing, and they get the imposter syndrome going, and they can do it. They really can. So I've actually got a Facebook group that I've been talking about imposter syndrome, about do you have that kind of thing, and so it's important on those groups.
And I keep coming back to Sue, our buddy Sue. She was ready to quit till she joined our community, and we talked her out of that imposter syndrome.
And sometimes it doesn't take, like an hour-long conversation to make these kind of insight switches. A lot of times it's just, first of all, explaining where it is that you're stuck and being vulnerable enough to let your guard down and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. And then accepting the feedback. And it doesn't necessarily always mean that the feedback that you're getting, you're going to follow everything that people say. But you are going to get different perspective than what you're able to create in your own head, all by yourself in your own room.
Okay.
You're limited.
I have the perfect example of this. I was at a children's authors summit. Everybody there was a published author. And I was talking to one of the authors, and she said, no, I'm not an author. I'm like, what do you mean you're not an author? You published a book. And it never dawned on her that that immediately made her an author. She was no less than I am, no less than any other person in there who has published a book. You published a book, you are an author. I use this as an example all the time. My first book, quite frankly, sucked. And sorry, Terry, I know you edited, but it was the way I wrote it, not the way she edited it. It wasn't fun. It was kind of boring. It was clinical. It was academic. And it made me an author. Even though I wasn't even proud of it, it still made me an author, a best-selling author, no less. It made me an author. I didn't go around saying I'm not an author. Well, I did at first. And then someone gave me this same speech. You wrote a book and it's published. You are an author.
Heidi brought up talking about feedback. I actually, would send some of my stories through the Oklahoma Writers Federation, and many states have them in different conferences. But you can enter writing contests, and the writing contests, the judges will give you feedback. They don't put their name on it or anything like that. And like you said, you can choose to take the feedback, or you can not take the feedback. But it was really good to get that feedback, because then I can look at that feedback when I'm writing or revising those stories and saying, hey, yeah, you're right, I should have done this. Or you can say, no, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to go in that direction. So, but it was good to have that feedback, which is better than not having it at all.
That is true, because you could get in your head and just be in your head, and then it gets all
Mm-hmm.
Been there. Yeah, it ends up in just like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's like in there. Well, I feel like we should get our pickles ready, and we should do like a pickle toast before we get out of here. I think everybody should get like a pickle, and we can hold our pickles up to the cameras. Mark's ahead of us. Here, a toast to Nickolai Picoli.
To Nickolai Picoli. May you sell 1 million copies.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now I'm going to get my mouth all sticky.
I love the pickles, but I'll stay away from the sour ones though.
I'll stay away from the sweet ones. We go more for both of us that way.
Can you help me out? Lick my hand up.
I think everybody should have an emotional.
She doesn't want it.
What you just told me now is each one of us just had our emotional support pickle.
That's right. That's right. That's what we do here on the Believe Retreat. Emotional support pickles and clean up dog crew.
Yeah. She doesn't want it.
Oh man, what are we paying you for?
Right?
All right.
So
Mark, thank you so much for being here in the corner of the screen. Right here, QR code to go to Mark's website. It's been scrolling along the bottom of the screen as well. And with that,
we While we're at it, when's our portal party is on the 30th at 3:30 Eastern.
Yes.
How can
portal
they
party.
find the portal party?
Oh, let's put that over to, is it this one?
I should have
no, that's a
I should have
Q&A
used my
session.
I should have used my left hand for the pickle. I don't want to touch my mouse with my sticky pickle hand.
Okay, here it is. Join our community. There is an event tab at the top of the community where the calendar is. You'll get reminders of these live streams, other events like the Q&A session that we do once a month, and the portal parties whenever they pop up. If you want to do your own portal party, you also can find a link and information to send us a message there and just let us know a good date that'll work for you to have your own portal party. We'll invite our friends, you invite yours.
And we'll get your idea out of the porta potty.
That's right. All right. So if you can conceive it, you can believe it, and you can achieve it.
From the head to the heart to the sticky hands.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Mark, can we get your pickle paraphernalia on your website too?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm actually working on getting someone to do my do the monetization and stuff of the being able to order books and other things. So that'll be in the process, probably in the fall.
All right, coming soon. We'll
Yeah,
have to have you back when you get
markmccraw.com.
all that lined up. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys all next week. Oh, at the portal party Thursday.
Yep. Porta party Thursday.